What's going on, everybody? We are back live. The CFP rankings came out exactly 1 hour ago. And due to us being faithful husbands and fathers, we could not get to you right at 7 p.m. because we got bedtime, man. Um, but the rankings came out. There's plenty to talk about tonight. Plenty to talk about here. So we're going to let some folks trickle in. Appreciate you guys joining us on X and on YouTube. Make sure you like the show, like the episode, like the channel, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you're watching on X right now, hit repost. Repost it to all your followers, man. Let's get this thing sharing a little bit. We're going to talk about, I know everyone's doing reaction shows right now. You're not going to find a better reaction show than here at Always Talking Ball with Lance Barton and Tyler Noe. So let's get rolling here, man. I'm going to bring up, and we're going to start at 25, obviously. So I'm going to bring up the old screen here. Have you seen these?
No, I have not.
Okay, he hasn't seen them. So you're getting Lance's live reaction tonight, so
This
great.
is a live reaction for me. Yeah. Man, I was in the trenches, bro, with twin 2-year-olds. So
Yep. All right, so we got two new teams there, 24 and 25. Okay. Cincinnati didn't even play a game. They're popping in. I mean, someone had to go in Missouri and Washington's place. So props to Cincinnati there. They've had a good season. USF now the first G5 representative in the top 25 for the committee. Still got Tennessee in there. They moved up 2 spots too without playing a game. So good for the Vols.
They played hard. They played hard against Pop.
They play harder there in that bye week. I don't have as big of a problem with Tennessee being there at 23 because still at 21. Like I hadn't seen Iowa pop up, and props to the committee, man. Like just dropping them 5 or 1 spot for that game against Oregon. Like I think committees in years past would have punished them a lot more for that loss for no reason.
100%, man. You and I, like when we do our own top 25 for the APP poll that we're a part of, yeah, I mean, we both had Iowa in. Like we talked about, like Iowa, we had Iowa ranked last week already. What did they do in an absolute war with Oregon, who's, I don't know what they're ranked yet, but I'm assuming they're somewhere between 6 to 8. Mm-hmm. What did they do last week against the number 6 to 8th ranked team in the country besides get beat by a walk-off field goal like that? Like, I mean, that was impressive the way that they played in that game. They impressed me more that they went toe-to-toe with the Ducks like that, as opposed to if they would have went and beaten, some Sisters of the Poor type team and, oh, hey, they won. Let's move them up. Like, I mean, again, that was impressive with their performance against the Ducks. And just something right off the bat here. I know there's been a lot of talk the last couple of days about multiple G5 teams possibly getting in over the ACC. Obviously, at this moment, that's not the case because I do not see the Dukes of James Madison here 25 through 21. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say they're not going to pop up here 20 through 15. Right. Yeah. So
it would be interesting to see kind of maybe like a 26 to 30 ranking if the committee would put it out to kind of see in a possibility of the ACC getting left out and Duke winning that championship where those teams rank right now.
Yep. And obviously, too, the Iowa deal, that sets up a big matchup coming up this weekend against the Trojans in Lincoln Riley. There in the LA in the Coliseum. So good stuff for the Hawkeyes there, man. And there's our Pitt Panthers. I think we were ahead of the curve on Pitt, man. We've been for a few weeks now, been touting Pat Narduzzi's Pitt Panthers, and they've got a doozy, should I say, against the Irish coming up this week.
Pat Narduzzi doesn't think so.
Again, according to Pat Narduzzi, it's not a big game. They can get beat by 100, and it doesn't matter.
I think if they get beat by 100, they might fall out of the top 25. And
it might matter.
That might hurt their case if they win it all and they win the ACC and they're behind a G5 team. Like you got to look a little bit good here, which I'm sure they will. But yeah, you got to look good this Saturday.
Yep, agreed. All right, man. Show me 20 through 16. I guess would be next.
So we got Louisville and Virginia dropping down.
Hey, there's those ACC. There's those ACC powerhouses.
Yeah.
So UVA 5 spot. Okay, well, I mean, it makes sense. Louisville getting beat at home on their home field by Cal. Yeah, for their second loss.
They're still honoring that head-to-head between Virginia and Louisville.
Yep. And at this point, man, honestly, I'm fine with that. Like you and I think had Louisville ahead of Virginia before this, uh, because we had more to look at than just the head to head overall with Virginia and Louisville. But dude, I'm not going to defend Louisville and think that they should be ahead of Virginia when you lose on your home field to Cal. And that's no disrespect to Justin Wilcox and the Calgorithm, but I mean, when you lose on your home field to Cal, you lose all speaking privileges at that point to say that you should be ranked over such and such. Nope.
Yeah.
I think this is a fair ranking for the Ville to be at 20 right now. But yeah, five spots for both of them. And looky here, one of those huge brands that is just lying in the weeds, lying back like the black widow spider, waiting to strike. Maybe last week of the season against the Buckeyes. Michigan just sitting there, just hanging out around
Yep.
18 is a 2-loss team.
Yeah.
And are they in Yankee Stadium this weekend?
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. Okay.
Yeah, against Northwestern.
Against
So
Northwestern. Yeah.
USC's got the head-to-head, so they're honoring that. And then you see Georgia Tech move up. They were on a bye, but obviously Virginia and Louisville taking a tumble. Had them at 16. You don't see Miami on here yet, do you? That's because they popped Miami up to 15.
Okay.
So I want everyone to keep that same energy with Miami being 5 spots ahead of Louisville for the head-to-head. Both with the same record. Louisville went into Hard Rock Stadium and they won the game. And it's I honestly I think this is a little bit of an overcorrection from the committee.
Like they had Miami too low last week, you think?
Yeah, and I mean they had them behind Georgia Tech. I know Georgia Tech was on a bye, but like they jumped Miami 3 spots. Like, do you know who Miami beat this past week?
Yeah, did they play hard against? But no, they played. They weren't on a bye, were they?
No, they weren't on a bye.
Golly, who did they beat the brakes off of?
Exactly. You don't know. That's the problem. They beat Syracuse.
Syracuse. There you go. Fran Brown and big tough guy Mario were sitting there exchanging words across the field at each other.
That must have really impressed the committee. Mario Cristobal showing his stones to Fran Brown. So
I think you're right. I think that's an overcorrection from last week. More than likely. I mean, the Canes sitting there at 15 now, man. I know they still need a lot of help, but like there's still, just off the top of my head, there's still a lot of like very logical and capable. It's not like it's crazy things that needs to happen. There's still something. What's up, Manny? That's one of my boys right there, Tyler.
He's not wrong. AC finish is going to be, I mean, it's not going to be chaos. It's going to be mass chaos.
Yeah, it is. Manny's a ball knower, by the way. Good dude. Good dude. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think he lives down in South Florida now too. So,
okay, so he knows.
Yeah, he knows. So yeah, the Canes at 50 again. The Canes don't need a ton of chaos to be an enlarged team. To be
they
honest,
would have. I mean,
they need a lot of things to happen, but the things they need to happen, I think, are like logical. Like they're not like just outrageous that they just couldn't happen. I don't feel like.
Then all of a sudden we're talking about 2 ACC teams getting in, and I can't get on board with that anymore.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, I retract my statement.
Yeah, that'll work itself out for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And there's Vandy, who obviously, I'm just going to throw this out there. Everybody keeps talking about Vandy, how they've got one big game left. They've got this one game left against Tennessee. Dude, the Undertaker meme just sitting up out of his casket is Mark Stoops right now in the Kentucky Wildcats. Just absolutely clapped Florida's cheeks this past weekend. Beat Auburn at Auburn the weekend before that. Played their butts off against Texas and did everything but beat them at home a few weeks ago. So, yeah, I mean, don't look now, but that's not an automatic win. The way Vandy's playing defense right now, that's not an automatic win for Vandy against Mark Stoops and the Cats. So Vandy's still got 2 losable games left.
Yeah.
And there's that heavily ranked power rated team, the Utes, sitting there at 13.
Yeah. And I mean, the committee, they kind of boxed themselves in with Utah at 13 last week because BYU's not going to drop below them. So you knew BYU was not going to be any lower than 12, which I don't think they should be. They got the head-to-head win and they got the better record.
Yeah, they should. Like Utah's best win would be Cincinnati, and then they beat a I mean, again, it's not their fault that it was a Sam Levitt-less,
Sure.
uh, Arizona State Fun Devil squad, but still, it was a Sam Levitt-less Arizona State Fun Devil squad that
Mhm.
did show up to Rice Eccles that night. But they've still got the dominant win over Cincinnati that, hey, made us look good by backing, what was that, minus 10.5 that we said lay them
Yeah.
points with the Utes, and we laid them.
Mhm.
They took care of us that night. But
Yep.
5 spots for the Cougs, man. So you know what that tells me with BYU? And there's a couple of others on here that I'm starting to wonder. I'm interested to see the top 10 too, but I just want to make this comment with BYU. For them to drop 5 spots like that, I think that is a testament to the eye test with that. Maybe the eye test metrics, like with that. Because, dude, BYU looked awful in all phases of the game. Like they weren't good on special teams. They weren't good on defense against Texas Tech. They weren't good running the ball. They weren't good throwing the ball. They couldn't block Texas Tech. I mean, dude, it was a complete overmatched mismatch in that game. I still believe BYU can win out and they're good enough to win out. But in that specific game against Texas Tech, man, they didn't look good at all. So it doesn't shock me that they dropped as far as they did because against the
Yeah.
best team that they played, they looked terrible.
Yeah. And you got OU there at 11, so they were on by. They moved up one spot, and right in front of them is
There it
number
is.
10 Texas, and Notre Dame's at 9, Oregon 8, Ole Miss at 7, and then Texas Tech jumped
Ooh,
up to
okay. Guns up
6.
is ahead of Ole Miss and Oregon. We have them ahead of Ole Miss and Oregon in ours too, right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we jumped them up to 6 as well.
We jumped up at 6. I mean, Notre Dame, they're still 6 spots ahead of Miami. So,
But hey,
you know,
how many spots is Miami ahead of Louisville?
5.
Okay. Hey, I told you said keep the same energy, so I'm gonna keep
Keep
it
the
here.
same energy.
I'm gonna keep it here for those
Yeah.
that's arguing about the Miami Notre Dame thing. I'm not gonna argue it. I'm just gonna bring up the deal there between uh, Louisville and Miami on
Yeah.
that spot.
So Texas Tech jumps ahead of Ole Miss, which obviously we had too. I mean, Ole Miss, sorry, you're not going to get any, credit for playing the Citadel, here in week 11. But Texas Tech, I mean, honestly, man, like I've seen the committee. Obviously, we know 2023. The committee has referenced injuries before. Um, there's a real case. I mean, Texas Tech's got a real shot here, I think. Finishing 12-1. The committee obviously respects conference championship games and
Mhm.
conference championship wins. There's a real shot here for Texas Tech to get into the top 4 with stuff happening in front of them. Um, and like again, 2023, the only game they lost this year, they had their backup quarterback in,
Yep.
right?
On the
They're
road against a team we know this committee respects.
exactly. So
Sam Levitt was playing in that game for Arizona State. That was not the Jeff Sims led Arizona State bunch. That was a fully loaded Arizona State squad that had Jordan Tyson and Sam Levitt
yeah,
rocking and rolling that day. And it was a hell of a football game too. What a game that was that day.
but
Uh,
at the
if I'm
same
not
time,
mistaken, that took a no. Texas Tech had a nice comeback to take the
yeah,
lead there with Will Hammond, and then Levitt led him down the field for a tutty there at the end.
yeah.
I'm with you, man. I mean, again, we've been touting this Texas Tech squad since May. So we get accused of being a Texas Tech homer podcast after we had our boy Josh Abbott on this past week again. Shout out Josh Abbott and his fantastic music again. But I'm with you. If especially look, this committee obviously loves them some Utah Utes. If Utah is that team that ends up in the Big 12 dance in Jerry's world against Texas Tech, and Texas Tech gives them a good old beatdown again, yeah, dude, that would obviously get that committee's attention in a huge way. Obviously, BYU being ranked where they're at. If BYU continues to win and they're sitting there around that 10 range in their rankings, and Texas Tech spanks them again in Jerry's world, that would obviously, yeah, you're right. If there's some losses ahead of them, there's a chance that they could get one of those buys. But selfishly, as a fan of the sport, I want to see a playoff game in Lubbock, bro. Feed me that. Feed
Yeah,
me a playoff game in Lubbock.
yeah. At the same time, Texas Tech's schedule has not been good. I told you I've been toying around with Kelly Ford power ratings, which is someone we really respect in their power ratings.
At K Ford
Um,
ratings on X.
Yeah, I took everyone's opponents, kind of here in the top 25, top 20, averaged out all their current power ratings to teams they've played, P4, G6, whatever you want to talk about. And just for like reference, I mean Georgia average plays an average power rating of 11.04. Alabama's like a 9.4, Texas A&M's a 9.2, Miami's 8.4. Like Miami's got a really solid strength of schedule. Texas Tech is down here at like 18th or 19th at a 1.77. Like they're below Louisville, they're below Utah, they're below Oregon, they're below Michigan, they're below Ole Miss, they're below Indiana, BYU, all these teams. Now I know they beat a couple of those teams. That's great, but when you start talking about them compared to like Alabama and Georgia, teams right above them that they're going to be
Indiana,
Indiana,
Ohio
they're
State.
gonna be fighting for those spots, that to
Yeah.
get that bye because we talked about how valuable that would be for the Red Raiders and for Baron Morton to have that time off, have that 3 weeks off before that game. Um, Resume wise, like on the field, eye test, power rating, they got it, but just like they have other than BYU and Utah, who they've dominated, they have not played the same caliber of teams that all these other teams have played.
Yep, I don't disagree with that. Like watching them with my eyeballs when they play football, like you just said, they look like one of the best teams in the country. But yeah, like their
That's why I
overall.
told our boy Joey McGuire, I was like, bro, you don't want any of that strength of schedule argument with Notre Dame, okay? You don't want none of that. You don't want to pick that fight. There's all kinds of stats out there. You don't want that.
They're just doing. He's just doing what the rest of the world does, which is hating on
Exactly.
Notre Dame for not being in a conference.
And it's about time the Big 12 starts stumping like the ACC is stumping, for Miami over Notre Dame. No hypotheticals, just facts. Like, sure, whatever. I hope they tweet that same thing out for Miami over Louisville, 5 spots ahead. So,
Yeah.
um, top five, man. You got it. Unchanged. Looks like the freaking red wedding up here. A bunch of red teams in red.
The Stark family is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, we thought A&M could possibly get rewarded for that, but they kept it status quo. I don't think they really feel like rocking the boat. We got A&M at 1 in our poll because as far as obviously strength of schedule, resume on the field, the win at Notre Dame is a top 10 team. Very, very solid. But again, Indiana, like still, even in SP plus, 3 road top 20 victories against power rated teams. And I mean, no other team in the country has that. I've not looked at top 30, top 40, but to have 3 road victories against top 20 power rated teams is something really special. Ohio State number 1, eye test, they might be the best most complete team in the country.
Yeah.
But, resume wise, like,
Their
it's just
resume is not better
not
than
there.
Indiana or Texas A&M's.
No.
Like you said, when I watch them play, they look to be like the best, most complete team in college football.
Yeah.
They do. All right, couple things. So I want to bring up what old Lane Kiffin had to say, and just hear your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So when he was arguing, I'm sure you saw it. This is that time of the year that you just love so much, where coaches are politicking for certain things, and Kiffin was decided to go to the mat for Texas A&M and the SEC overall. But he used Texas A&M as the example about how the narrative is, and this is something I've been beating drum on for a while. The narrative is you're supposed to schedule harder. The narrative is that the SEC needs to go from 8 conference games to 9 conference games and also schedule a tough out of conference opponent because those things are going to help you in the college football playoff and going to help you with seeding in the college football playoff. And I know we've got more weeks left to go, but as
It's
we sit
also
here,
it's really ironic that Lane's doing this because their non-conference schedule has been a joke for years.
agreed. But hey, he didn't use
Yeah, I
the
know he's
Rebs as
stumping
an
for A&M.
example. He was stumping for the Ags.
Yeah.
So I actually agree with his statement. This is what I said last year about Georgia and Clemson and teams like that. Use those teams as an example. If those teams would have played podunk and not played each other, they would have been either in the same spot or actually been better off in their scenario. But in this situation, if Texas A&M would have played Indiana State instead of Notre Dame from the state of Indiana, where would Texas A&M be ranked today?
Yeah, probably be
They'd
3.
be third.
Mhm.
But now again, later we've got more weeks to play. If A&M ends up jumping into that 1 or 2 spot and they're citing all of their the strength of record, strength of schedule, like yes, sure. But at this point, that's true. If Texas A&M would not have played Notre Dame, they would be ranked probably right there.
You
Question to
know what
you as well. If
you know
Notre
what's
Dame would
wild?
not have played Texas A&M, where would they be ranked probably right now? Probably about the same.
I mean, no, if they would have
Or
played Indiana State versus Texas A&M, they'd probably be number 5.
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'd probably be a little bit further ahead. Either way, Notre Dame
same with
wouldn't be
Alabama. I
lower.
got it, yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame wouldn't be lower than what they are right now.
Yeah.
So that game literally didn't help either one of them. And if A&M would have lost that game, where would A&M be ranked right now? Not third.
Yeah, probably 9th or 10th, yeah.
Right. So at this that just, I just as a fan of the sport, I don't want to see those games go away.
I don't think they're gonna go away because you know who that helps is the pockets of the TV networks.
That's a great point. They want to see
Yeah,
they
they're not
want
gonna
to
go away.
see as
That's who
many
benefits from those games right now from what we can see from the
and
rankings.
and us the fans benefit
Sure,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't go away. I don't want to see them go away. I hope they constantly are scheduling tough games against each other. We saw Auburn and Notre Dame scheduled a home and home with each other here recently, so that's good stuff. But I hope that continues. Uh, so,
You
I
know what's
mean, man,
funny
I
is
don't
that preseason rankings, which, we don't put a lot of stock in, but, A&M started 1 spot ahead of Indiana in the preseason AP poll. Just thought that was funny.
really.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think they're 18 and 19 or 19 and 20, something like that, yeah.
okay. That's so funny that
So
people
that's
got
all
them
committee. I mean, AP poll obviously has them there too, but, like,
right.
that's committee too. They're supposed to not look at any rankings, and we
Yeah,
know every year when they first come out, the AP poll obviously adjusts their rankings. That's why we saw Oregon dropping in the AP poll after a win at Iowa, and
yeah,
it just kind of all falls in line. And so these are the only rankings that you would care about. So
yeah.
um,
But as far as best spots here in the, let's just look at the top 12 again. It would have to be just catastrophic for those first 3 teams listed there to not make the playoff. I know that they're not like necessarily like virtual, just complete locks at this point, but like they're as close as you can be to
I mean,
complete lock.
A&M would have to lose this week to South Carolina. They'd have to lose at Texas. That would probably get them out of the SEC championship, and then losing 2 of your last 3 games. One of them being to Texas, that's okay, but one of them being to South Carolina,
Yeah.
you're not riding that high going into the playoffs. You're not ascending, you're descending, and the committee notices that stuff too. So, what would be interesting to me out of the top 11 here is what they would do with Texas and Oklahoma and Alabama and Georgia if both of those road teams were to pull off upsets this week. They all have 4. They all have 2 losses.
That was the
You've
number
got
one
to
thing I
honor
wanted
the
to talk to you about.
head-to-head somehow. So it would be Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, right?
Probably the well, so let's break those up into 2. That was actually the number one thing I wanted to talk to on this live tonight. This is number one. I'm excited about it too. So everybody keeps saying that this is a must win for Texas. That's what I keep hearing on a lot of these talk shows that we both listen to, pods and different stuff that we love to listen to, and I hear it on TV as well. The must win game, do or die for Texas. It's close, but it's not. And I mean, if Texas were to lose a dogfight to Georgia, pun intended, and then they beat Texas, undefeated Texas A&M to end the season, and they're 9-3 with the wins that they would have, even the like loss to Ohio State, 7-point loss to Ohio State. I know they lost to Florida as well. That's on the resume as
Yeah.
well. But it's not like they got beat 24-3 like Alabama did to Oklahoma. Texas would be a significantly more attractive 9-3 team with their resume than the 9-3 teams last year that were, you know, almost going to say it, crying at the end of the year to get into the
Yeah.
committee. Like Alabama had the 24-3, cheat clapping to Oklahoma. Ole Miss had that awful loss to Kentucky. South Carolina had the head-to-head losses to Ole Miss and to Alabama. So none of those teams really like had like a fantastic resume just to say they could get it. Texas would have a really good resume and would have no awful losses and would have 3 good wins. So I don't think it's do or die for them, but something nobody's talking about, Tyler. And you're going to love this being the Brent Key the dude that's driving the Ramble and the Wreck onto the field when Georgia Tech runs out onto the field. Why is nobody talking about the fact that if Georgia goes out and finds a way to lose this week to Texas at home, what if Georgia, like we saw Georgia Tech, what they did with Georgia last year? That game, it should be in Bobby Dodd. Can't believe it's not. But that game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, are we just saying are all these people saying that's a foregone conclusion that the Dogs are just going to beat the Jackets? Because that answer is it shouldn't be. That is not the case.
Yeah.
After what we saw last year, I think even Georgia fans, like the sane ones, would actually even say, like, yeah, that's not just a foregone conclusion that we're just going to beat Georgia Tech. No, it's not. So what if Georgia does lose to Texas? And then they do get beat by Georgia Tech.
Again, that's 2 out of 3 losses to end the season. You're not in the SEC championship. You're 9-3 at that point. That's worse than
they'd be out,
scenario.
bro. They'd be out. Like, and I can't believe that. Like, as much respect as I have for Kirby Smart and that Georgia team, the Mean Machine in red and black, they'd be out, bro, if that happened. They really would. So it is just as like, it's not do or die for either team, but it is significant for both of these teams because then all of a sudden Georgia is in a do or die game against Georgia Tech at the end of the year if that happens.
Okay. Georgia wins 20-17 over Texas. Where does Texas rank next week?
13, 14, 13.
In front of Vandy still?
Yeah.
Even with more losses?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would. Now they may not do that. But the answer to that question is, let's just say they put them one spot behind Vandy. If Vandy beats Kentucky and Tennessee, and if Texas were to beat A&M, undefeated A&M, which win do you think carries more weight? Right. Texas beating A&M and Texas beat Vandy.
Yeah.
So again, if somebody's going to say, well, they got more losses. Oh, remind me, who was it? What did Texas do when they played out of conference? Oh, they played the number 1 ranked team, defending national champs on the road at Ohio State. If you tell me that they're out because they got one more loss, Texas next year should literally go schedule, no, seriously, see if it's legal to schedule a high school team from the state of Ohio instead of playing Ohio State. All right, go ahead.
Georgia beats Texas 27-10.
Like a dominant fashion.
Yeah, just never in doubt. I mean, really, if we're talking about it, the Ohio State-Texas game, that was never in doubt either. It just was 14-7 at the end because Texas decided to play a little bit of offense there at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But 27-10, 17-point victory in Athens, similar to the Oklahoma-Alabama game last year.
Okay. Yeah, they would probably drop 14, 15. They'd drop behind. They'd only drop 1 or 2 more spots lower than what I just said.
So they'd still be in front of USC and Michigan?
That's a good point.
See, it depends on how you lose.
It's a good point.
You gotta look the part. Like that's the idea.
That's a good point. If they get dominated, that would be the most interesting thing I think we could see what the committee would do is no matter what happens to Texas, what do they do? If Texas wins, where do they go?
Yeah.
If Texas loses, like you said, whether it's a beatdown or whether it's a really good, hard-fought, I'm going to keep saying dogfight just because they're playing Georgia, and I just, I got the dad life hat on. I'm going to keep making the dad jokes here. I think Texas that's going to be the most interesting deal there because, again, USC is playing a team that obviously the committee respects because they've got Iowa at 21, and they should respect Iowa. So you're right, man. If Georgia beats the brakes off of them, then they may drop below Michigan and USC.
All right, so let's do the same thing for Alabama, Oklahoma. Alabama wins that game 21-17.
Oklahoma, what would be their
They would be 7-3.
7-3? Right.
They
I'm trying
wouldn't
to
have a
think.
win over Vanderbilt, but they
Right.
have a win over that Michigan team at 18.
They dropped behind Michigan. They dropped behind Michigan. I think they
So
would drop them that
you're
far.
gonna
I think they would
respect
drop
that
them that.
you're gonna respect the head to head in the Vandy Texas game, but not in the Oklahoma Michigan game.
Sorry, they're one spot ahead of Michigan.
Okay, I was
They would
like,
drop one spot ahead
what's
of
going
Michigan.
on?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry. Yep.
okay,
Yep. I literally in my head was like, oh yeah, Michigan beat them. No, you're right. Oklahoma beat them in Norman.
yeah,
Yeah, that's probably where they would be.
okay,
If it's a beat down, they'll drop Oklahoma behind Michigan. Even though
yeah,
that Oklahoma beat them head to head, they could easily justify that by yeah, they did beat Michigan, but they've got an extra loss than that. They've gotten beat really bad. The best teams they've played at that point would probably be Texas, Ole Miss, and Alabama, and they would have gotten their cheeks clapped by Alabama and Texas in that
yeah,
scenario.
yeah. All right, and so then obviously what we started this off with the two road teams pulling off upsets.
Yep.
I think you'd see Texas Tech at 4. I think you'd see Ole Miss. I think you'd see Oregon above them.
Yep.
Oh, man, it would be interesting to see what they do with Notre Dame if they just move those 4 teams up into 4, 5, 6, 7,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got. I mean, how would you do that? Texas, Oklahoma at 8, 9, Bama, Georgia 10 and 11, right?
I think if Texas beats Georgia, they're going to go ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're probably right. And I think if Oklahoma beats Alabama, they should go ahead of Notre Dame too. They should.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
I
you're
don't
right.
know how much Notre Dame, how much more drastically they can improve their seeding.
And I think honestly, Notre Dame could beat number 22 Pitt this week. And if those
Yep.
two teams upset Alabama and Georgia, Notre
Yep.
Dame could drop back to 11.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
I mean, I think that could happen. I don't know if the committee would do that to Notre Dame. Just
Yeah.
the committee darlings, everyone wants to think. So, um,
Where would Alabama be, you think, losing if they lose to Oklahoma?
just them and Georgia wins.
Yeah, let's say Georgia wins and Oklahoma beats Alabama.
They would be at 9.
I agree.
They would be at 9.
I asked you that.
No, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they'd be at 9.
Yep, I
Yeah.
agree.
And they would still, I think would still have an inside track at the SEC championship. But then again, like you said with Georgia and Georgia Tech, that Auburn game
Yep.
on the plains, first time
That's not a
DeBoer's
guaranteed.
going there.
That is far from a guarantee win.
Exactly. And that just, I mean, that becomes that much more important.
Yep, that game becomes literally everything. Like that might as well be for a championship for Auburn at that point. They
Yeah.
could knock Alabama out of the playoff, which would be about as big as anything they could do. That would be by far like the salvage everything for their season. I don't know how much Auburn fans really care at this point. Just like, oh, yay, we get to go to a bowl game. They wouldn't care about that at that point. It would be ruining Alabama's season if that's the way that it came down. Yeah, I'm with you.
So there's still a lot of stuff going on there in the top 11. You got BYU, Utah. It's so funny. Let's just get to the next slide here. There's the projected bracket. It's so funny they've got Miami there at number 11. They're not even nearly in the driver's seat to win the ACC.
Right.
But they're the highest ranked ACC team right now. So they're just slotting them in there. Like that's kind of dumb to me, but whatever. We had South Florida, Georgia in our bracket. We had Notre Dame, Oregon. We had Georgia Tech and Texas Tech.
Which I think is more logical than what they have right here.
Yeah, and then we had Texas Ole Miss, I believe.
Dude, we had everything on the left the exact same, except we had Georgia Tech instead of Miami.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if they move, like we talked about today, if they move Texas Tech and Ole Miss and move Texas Tech down to 7 or hopped, Texas down to number 11 seed, and you get a good old fashioned Big 12 rivalry down in Lubbock with the Horns and the Red Raiders.
Dude, I sent you that text. I sent you that text today. I said 9-3 Texas sneaking in the playoff at the 11 spot. going to Lubbock to play 6 seed Texas Tech
Mm.
as I don't even know this is what the kids say. This is just what whoever says on social
Some kids
media
have said it.
that would feed families.
Whew,
That's what it
yeah,
would do. It would
yeah.
just feed families.
Quarterfinals, you'd have a rematch either way. You'd have South Florida going back to Tuscaloosa nightmares last year,
South
and then
Florida
you
going,
have
yeah,
Georgia possibly playing Alabama in the quarterfinals, which would be great. Um, Either one of those teams, Notre Dame or Oregon, playing Ohio State, probably in the Rose Bowl. Notre Dame going up to Eugene would be fantastic, I
it
think.
would. It would.
Again, Texas Tech, possibly another Big 12 rivalry united with Texas A&M. Like that would be fun. That could be, that would be in the Cotton Bowl, I would imagine, because
Yep.
that's a quarterfinal site. Like
Yep.
just all Texas, man, all Texas
Yeah.
bowl in the Cotton
Yeah.
Bowl would be insane.
That'd be awesome.
And then either Ole Miss or the Horns playing Indiana
Either
and
way,
that.
fantastic matchup.
Yeah, so like I'd be good at the season ending right now. And we got this right here. Like I would be set
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
And then our bracket just for you guys. We had the same thing on the left, except we had Georgia Tech playing Texas Tech. We had A&M at the 1 seed according to our rankings, which would set up again would set up maybe Ohio State Texas Tech. I think that would be a fun matchup. A&M versus Oregon Notre Dame. Honestly, I kind of like the committees better. Like I kind of like those potential quarterfinal matchups
Yeah.
better.
Same. As a fan, their matchup, their quarterfinal matchups are better.
Yeah, and then first four out for us in our minds, according to our rankings, we got Oklahoma there, BYU, USC, and Vandy, according to our rankings. So, what else should we look at? I mean, what else you got? You want to go back to the rankings and dissect those a little more?
I mean, I'm going to be honest again, man. 2 weeks in a row, there's not a lot that there's not really anything that I just think is. Is there anything on here that you think is like just bad? That you're just like that's trash.
Yeah, I mean, I did a couple things. I mean, again, I don't know why Tennessee's still in there, but they were in there last week, and you can't move them out after not playing a game. So,
This is again, I'm
whatever.
going to say it, man. This is called growth, or maybe some people in the South would say I'm being a sellout or something. I'm not. I'm just what I don't know what
SEC
Tennessee has
lands.
done. I don't know what Tennessee has done to earn that. While 3-loss Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'll just while I'm looking at it, I'll ramble while I'm looking at it. I think Illinois has a higher strength of record and a higher strength of schedule than Tennessee, but I could be wrong on that. But Illinois' losses, I mean, I know they got absolutely just blasted. They are. Illinois is the 18th ranked strength of record and the 9th ranked strength of schedule. Tennessee is 22nd in strength of record and they're 18th in strength of schedule. So Illinois is 9 spots ahead in strength of schedule, and they are 4 spots ahead in strength of record.
Yeah, Kelly Ford's most deserving has Illinois at 17th and Tennessee at 24th.
Yeah. So I just think I think that's your answer, man. That's really. I don't think I had Tennessee when we did our top 25 for the
No.
APP poll. I did have Illinois in mind.
Okay.
Again, think about who Illinois lost to, bro. They lost to
Yeah.
number 1, to number 2, and they lost on the road against a team that has literally lost one home game in the
Yeah.
last like 4 years in Washington. Their only home game they've lost like in the last 3 or 4 years is to number 1 Ohio State, who everybody's losing to right now.
Yeah.
So and they beat USC.
Yep.
Tennessee
I
doesn't
had
have a win against any of these teams on this
no.
screen right now.
I gave him props for Iowa at 21.
Same.
I kept the same energy. I'm okay with Miami being that far ahead of Louisville because I had them, a couple spots ahead of them in my poll as well.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm keeping that same energy because I kept the same energy last week that we both did about Notre Dame being ahead of Miami. I know we watched a lot of other shows last week, and you guys can have your own opinions. It just seemed like you guys were trying to nitpick and try to find things that the committee did wrong, but it was actually one of the committee's better rankings to start off a season. I still think UVA is way too high at 19. I didn't even rank them in my top 25. I wouldn't put them anywhere in the top 25.
Well, I have my first best bet of the week was Duke -6.5, the unranked team
Yeah.
against the ranked team.
We've
which
been
is
hopping
6 and
off
3
that
on the
wagon
year.
for a long time. Sorry, Moose, if you're watching, but we've been hopping off that wagon for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm still
Um,
gonna give Moose credit, bro, for putting him where he
you
did
picked them 9 and
before.
3, right?
Yeah, he put him where he put him before the season, and I mean, we talked about him on our AC preview that we thought that they would have a chance to go over their win total of like 5.5 or 6.5, but we weren't sitting
Yeah,
there talking about them 9 and 3 like Moose was.
yeah.
So that was good stuff there by Moose. Like we were cracking on him when he released that graphic
Oh yeah,
about that.
oh yeah. One more thing I want to pull up here because we do it every week, and I can't get it on the side by side yet because they're a little slow in putting it out this week. But we love these guys over at
Dude,
BCS Know How. Um, which they've got the top
hey,
5 set up.
yep,
I mean, computers still love Oregon, still
yep.
love Oregon and Ole Miss. Texas Tech still down at 8. Utah
You,
14. Georgia. They got Miami all the way down at
you know what I
17.
mean?
So
You want me to give you a little take real quick?
sure.
I was hard on Oregon. I said this on our last episode. I've been hard on Oregon this year because of their resume. But after Saturday, I am fine with anybody that has Oregon where they have them right here at 6. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm still extremely impressed that they went into Iowa City, into Kinnick, in that just perfect storm, literally while raining, the perfect storm for an upset.
Yeah.
Everything was there for Iowa. The weather, they got the perfect weather that they needed for that game. Everything that we've ever seen for an Iowa upset against a top 10 team over the years was right there for the taking. And they scored that touchdown late, and they went down the field and scored and won there at the end of the game. Dante Moore led them down the field, and they kicked that field goal, walk-off field goal. That really was impressive. More impressive than people are getting, than I think that the rest of the country is giving it credit for. So I have no problem with Oregon. Again, I don't have Oregon currently ahead of Texas Tech and Ole Miss,
Yeah.
but if you do, I'm not going to really argue against it.
They're at number 19, man. Maybe the committee's just looking at the computers and they're seeing Tennessee at number 19 and thinking how can we not put them in the top 25, but
That's it.
uh,
That's interesting, man. I don't understand that. And you know me, I'm definitely not the analytics guy here on this show.
and
But
Iowa's not on there at all. But I know that they do factor in the AP and the coaches poll, and the AP has refused to rank Iowa at all. Like they didn't have them going into the Oregon game. They didn't have them
listen,
ranked.
dude, how many people that vote for that AP poll watched Iowa for 10 seconds?
I think that was the main issue with the BCS from the get go is they had a human element to it that was
The wrong human element.
the wrong human element. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the committee actually gets together and actually, talks about these games and they talk about these teams.
I'm sure some of
And
them at least watch the game. Some of them.
they've
Maybe
got a
all of them.
million
Doubt
TVs
it.
there. They've got a ton of different TVs there. So,
Dude, is
um,
that like a mason jar you got there? You one upping me here, bro?
there's a little Indianapolis Colts mason jar, man.
The Colts are a wagon, dude.
I'm Indianapolis Colts, got my Indiana hat, just Indiana, a little Brandon Bills action. You got a Brandon Bills on?
Yeah. Well, hey, it's about Christmas time too, man. I might get some more Brandon Bills.
Get some Brandon Bills hats, baby.
Look at hey, wait, look at Time out. Look at
Yep.
JMU sitting down there
Oh,
at 25 in the
you don't
BCS poll.
you don't see USF on there. You see JMU.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, the ACC is thrilled that the BCS standings are not the ones being being used. I know that the USF's not in this one, but look at Missouri still sitting there too in this one.
Yeah, dude, it's just wild.
The BCS has SEC bias.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
all. That's all. That's honestly. That's all. That's all I've got. You got any more bets you want to throw out tonight for the people before we hop
I
off?
actually do. I did place one more bet while we're at it. Just me sitting here sweating a Kentucky Louisville game where Louisville is absolutely pounding the Cats by 14
Oh, really?
already. Yep.
Some hoop action.
Yep. But
Would you
the
take
other
Kentucky in
bet
that one?
that I made, and it's not going to surprise anybody who has watched this show before, but I'm on Indiana minus 29.5 against the Badgers.
Yeah, Wisconsin, that huge emotional win that they got against Washington like that. Now they got to go on the road and face Indiana, who obviously they had that big win, but
Sure. Big emotional win too.
yeah, but they're probably looking for somebody's ass to whip this week, and it just so happens to be Wisconsin that's in their way.
Yeah, have you not seen what Indiana's been doing to teams in Memorial Stadium down there in Bloomington? Like it's just been
Wisconsin just can't score, bro. I mean, their punter is leading them in passing. So
and it's not the weather on Saturday looks to be near 70 degrees here
yep,
in Indiana. So like, yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a beatdown. So I'm on Indiana minus 29.5. And then on our Sunday show, I already took BYU minus 4.5. I think they're gonna bounce back against TCU, who I think
yep.
is on life support. I trust Kalani Sitake way more than I do Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes is getting up there in the Mario Cristobal territory for me. If he didn't have that national championship appearance, I don't know what we would be saying about that guy.
Yep.
So you got any bets?
I do. I've got one more.
Okay.
I'm taking Cincinnati minus 6.5 at home against Arizona.
Ooh.
Noah Fafita in Arizona is playing good ball right now, but I'm going to take the Bearcats in the historic Nippert Stadium against Arizona this week. I think Cincinnati coming off a bye. The last time they were on the field was on the road at Utah, which seems like forever ago, but it was only 2 weeks ago. And they're coming back home. I think they're not. I don't think they're getting the respect that they still deserve at this moment. But I'm going to take Cincinnati minus 6.5 at home against Zona. I think Cincy gets it done.
Y'all might want to tune in to our next episode here in a day or two, week 12 preview, because that may be one we might go head to head on. I don't know.
What, you got upset alert on Arizona?
I mean, I just think Cincinnati's got BYU coming to town next week. Maybe a little sleepy spot at noon. Love those road teams at noon. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think Cincinnati's overlooking anybody right now needing to win every single game to still compete for the Big 12 title.
That's true. That's true. And they've still got a shot. They do. It would
Yep.
just be just like Cincinnati, though, to you get that game against BYU, you win that, you got a chance to play Texas Tech, but shoot, we lose to Arizona.
Yeah, touche. Hope not.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I might hope for it. I haven't decided yet. We'll see.
Okay.
That's it for us, man. I think we've covered enough in the live tonight. Appreciate you guys all tuning in on X and YouTube. Had some comments and everything. Our boy Moose was retweeting something about Virginia as we were talking about Virginia. So hopefully he's not too mad at us for hating on the Wahoos. A lot of Wahoo slander on this show. So
Hey, we might be hating on the Wahoos, but you know one thing we're not hating on? That's old Moose.
Walk on red shirts, man.
We don't hate on walk on red shirts and Moose. Love them boys.
Yep.
Or Jake and Moose.
But that's it. Yeah, we'll put this out on Spotify and Apple. So those who haven't tuned in, you guys can listen tomorrow if you want to on your drive into work. And we'll be back, of course, tomorrow night, Thursday morning on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify with our Week 12 preview. We're going to talk 3 big games. Obviously, Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama, Notre Dame, Pitt. We're going to talk a little upset meter again. Put a little teams on upset alert, of course, and talk about best bets. It's going to be a fun show like it always is. We're going to keep trucking along. 3 weeks left in the regular season. I know we all cannot wait for rivalry weekend. Just one of the best weekends of the year. I think we're going to get a lot of action. There's a lot of ranked teams already slated to go on the road to play ranked teams or unranked teams. So it's going to be a fun time. And then obviously conference championship weekend, playoffs, all that stuff. So stick with us, man. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you share with your friends and family. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. For Lance Barton, I'm Tyler Noe. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. And we will see you next